This was pretty impressive. Do we have that list of who Trump is vetting for VP?
Yeah, Bradley's
put
pulling
that
it up.
Yeah. You know, Doug Burgum, obviously on the list.
Obviously.
Because of his
Obviously.
riches.
I don't know
pay
how
for
you
things.
wouldn't do that. JD Vance is on the list. I think he's going to be the one who's ultimately going to get the nod. You, of course, also have Ben Carson on the list.
Of course.
Did Byron Donalds make that list?
He did. He did.
Yeah.
Vance, little Marco
Pop it
is
back up.
on the list as well.
Keep coming down. There's a longer list of people who I think should be in there.
Doug Burgum, Marco Rubio, Tim Scott, Elise Stefanik, who won't get it because she's a brunette.
But look, we've talked about this. The reason why you sort of release something like this is because you want to signal that you're willing to consider these people your vice presidents. You want some of the credit for fans of these people to think, okay, you have an open mind. And of course, it's going to end up being like JD Vance. I think it's probably more than likely. But so Byron Donalds, he's out there. He's got to basically audition for the vice presidential position. And what Donalds brings to the ticket, of course, is an ability to be a black man who will basically say racism doesn't really exist. That in many respects, black people may have had, plantation owners don't get credit for things like, room and board for free. Hey, that's a pretty good deal. Thank you for bringing us over to America. That's a pretty good deal. And even post-Reconstruction, things like Jim Crow. Maybe we should take another look at that. Here is
for the family.
Yeah. Byron Donalds. Why always look at the negative of these things? Here's Byron Donalds on Joy Reid's show.
Last question.
Which creates better people.
Last question, and then I'm going to let you go. Last question. We're out of time,
Sure,
but I'm going to give you one more question. During Jim Crow, could your family have existed? You are in an interracial marriage. Your wife is a white conservative activist. Could your family have existed at all during Jim Crow?
No, it could not, Joy. We all know that. But that's why I am blessed to live in America today as opposed to America during that time. But we cannot ignore the realities of not having fathers in homes. That is important for Black people today and all people today as we move forward for a better America.
We are out of time. What I'm grateful for is that we do not live in the Jim Crow era and that fathers do not face the threat of lynching.
I'm very grateful of that.
Perhaps don't bring up Jim Crow when you're trying to make that example. Representative Byron Donalds, thank you for being here, and we'll be right back. Last question.
His quote was about how LBJ's Great Society and Jim Crow the LBJ's Great Society broke up black families. That was like the gist of what he was saying, and undercut the black familial structure. And it's just patently false, because if you want to talk about policy reasons for, I don't know, his like privileging of the nuclear family, which I don't even buy into, but just putting that aside for a second, it is quite clearly the drug war, the mass incarceration, things like redlining, where black people weren't able to participate in the economy in the same way.
You know what else broke up black families?
What?
Slavery.
Oh, right. Right. In fact, that was an explicit policy of slave owners in order to their property wouldn't get a little bit too cozy with their other family members. Yeah. She kind of cornered him there on his wife, but
impressive. No, I couldn't have married my wife, but fascinating.
You brought up Jim Crow because you're caping for white supremacy.
Yep.
Byron, let's be real about it.
It really is amazing how low certain people will stoop to. It's one thing to be a conservative. It's another to saying, like, You know, when black people were second-class citizens, and I mean real, like literally second-class citizens, there was a lot of benefits that we got out of that.
Yeah, having to use a different water fountain was really good for my desire to go raise my kid.
Well, there's a version of this for white women right now with the whole trad wife movement, right? With all of like, I mean, that's what that is, or just me participating in society as a voter or as a full citizen actually was worse off for me, and I'm better off not having those rights. And the people that consume that are either white misogynists in that instance or white racists in the other instance. So that's what he was doing, auditioning.
All right. 10 IMs and then we're out of here for the week. Miller time. He's so disgusting. Africa is such a beautiful continent and has the strongest legacy of decolonialism and socialism in the world besides Central America. What the F is his problem with a continent population that did nothing to him? F Dave Rubin so much. He honestly is the most disgusting person on the right because he's the most hypocritical of all of them.
Craven. Yeah, I mean, he's pretty maxed
craven.
out and Craven and that sort of stuff.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.